What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Afterwork podcast with the wife, where me and my wife chop up the day. I just got home, got some dinner in front of me, got a nice beer in front of me, and so yeah. What do you want to tell me about today? Anything? Any news?
Well, Laurel eloped, but that's the only
Yeah, family member
family member.
eloped, right?
But no, I don't have anything exciting.
Guys, I told Morgan that the other day. People often have an issue with like how much gear we wear. For those who don't know, I work at a grocery store here in Portland, Oregon, and we wear a lot of gear, right? If you've ever seen any of the pictures on my page, we're dressed like police officers. We have an outer carrier. You're wearing plates. Multiple sets of handcuffs, firearms, tasers, anything and everything that you might possibly need, right? And a lot of times people look at that and they go, man, you're overdoing it. You're working in a grocery store, like you don't need to have that much gear on. We have regular situations where we have to go hands on. I've put up pictures on my page. The homeless community, the drug addicted community. There's no knife ordinances other than the fact that if you have a knife, it has to be open carried. So in a state and a city that is absolutely obsessed with gun control, they allow people that have, unfeathered access to drugs to be able to carry a knife, a dirk, a dagger of any length as long as it's open carried. So oftentimes people carry machetes, they carry hatchets, they carry, samurai
Axes.
swords, all kinds of stuff. And it leads to a crazy amount of stabbings and slashings in Portland. So, I don't know where I was going with this. Stabbings and slashings in Portland. Oh, the other day there was someone that got murdered on the Max train. Our Max line is like our version of the subway system. It's an above ground subway system, and routinely people are getting murdered on the Max line. Now they haven't done anything about that. There's no calls for common sense knife reform. There's no push for people to have any sort of ordinances or controls on knives. It's always, focused on gun control. So anyway, I say all that to say that that is why we tend to wear the type of equipment that we do in the grocery stores. Not to mention the fact that there have been a lot of mass that have happened in the last couple of years, and some of those have happened in our parent company, not at the location that I work at, but in other grocery stores. So there's also that. I was talking to a partner of mine, and we were talking about this conversation, people having access to knives, people getting stabbed, and things like that. And he says, well, yeah, that reminds me of what happened back in the day when that guy came in with the head. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, when did you move here? And I'm like, I moved here in 2020. He goes, oh, yeah, that was like 2017, 2018. Guys, listen, there's so much crazy stuff that happens in Portland.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, on a daily basis, the amount of crazy stuff that I see and that I witness and I experience, it blows my mind, right? But he told me a story that literally made me speechless.
Cliff notes it for them because you told me a pretty lengthy.
I'm gonna tell him the whole. Okay, I'm not. Okay, this is the story. Okay, so my partner reiterates to me. He's like, "Yeah, that's just like what happened back in the day at the grocery store with the head." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He says, "So in 2017, 2018, um, at a grocery store outside of Portland, this guy walks into the store carrying a severed head, the severed head of his mother. Guys, on Mother's Day, this guy murders his mom and the dog, cuts off her head. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but this is in the news. Do you have your phone?
It's charging. Sorry.
Cuts off her head, walks into the grocery store, goes into the meat department, and throws the head to the butcher. So imagine you're the butcher, you're cutting up meat, you're cutting up steaks or whatever, and someone goes, "Hey, catch!" And you turn around and you catch a human head. The guy then runs from the meat department up to the self checkout area and proceeds to start stabbing people. Craziness, right? Right outside of Portland. And so, my partner and I were talking, and he was like, that happened in a town called Estacada. Estacada is like 30 minutes away from Portland, right? He was like, would something like that shock you if it were to happen at the location where I work at? And it wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me at all. I'm actually more shocked and surprised that something like that hasn't happened, right? I've dealt with homicides. I've dealt with 4 overdose deaths. Um, multiple robberies. Like the kind of things that we see on a daily basis are just crazy. But I have never experienced anything like seeing someone walk in with a severed head. That is absolutely crazy. Your phone, it doesn't have any charge whatsoever. I want to show them the picture of the guy.
Okay. I don't know how you want to find it.
I know. I'll just hang on. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of this dude because I want y'all to know that I'm not making this shit up.
You're on Google.
Okay. Estacada man severed head. Head. Yep, there he is. Okay, there. The fucking ads. Get out of here. Golly, man, these damn ads. That's the guy. Look at that face. The face of a winner. USA Today. Right? I'm going to read the story to you. Okay, this is from USA Today. It says, man carrying mother's severed head stabs store worker. A man covered in blood, holding a knife and carrying his mother's severed head, walked into an Estacada grocery store on Mother's Day and stabbed a clerk, according to the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. The suspect, 36-year-old Joshua Lee Webb, was arrested for the stabbing and the killing of his mother, 50-year-old Tina Marie Webb, at their home about 10 miles away from the incident at the grocery store. Sunday's grisly episode first came to light when the suspect walked into the Estacada Thriftway Harvest Market around 2 p.m. Someone says, I was watching the basketball game and I heard all these sirens go by, said the neighbor. I opened up the window and I seen all these cops flying in and all the ambulances. And I saw one person get carried out on a stretcher. Once inside the store, Webb stabbed an employee who was flown to a hospital, according to the police. Wagner is expected to survive. Other employees at the store tackled Webb and held him down until police arrived. Estacada fire officials said he was taken into custody and then taken to a nearby hospital for evaluation. Don't waste the money on the evaluation. Trust me, he's crazy. At 2:35 p.m., a 911 caller reported finding a dead woman inside of her home in the 2500 block of Elwood. Deputies arrived to the home and located the body, which was headless. That's the story. So, anyone who questions why we wear what we wear, why we're there in the first place, this is the situation. So, what?
I have a question, but it's going to derail you if you've got a whole thing.
No, that's all I was going to say about that. What's your question?
I mean, this is something I would ask you generally. You telling me a story like this.
Okay.
So someone comes into the store.
I thought about this.
Someone comes into the store and you see that they're holding a severed head. What do you do? Like, is that an opportunity to pull your? There's so many options, right? This would be a great.
I don't think, you know what?
Q&A, but
listen,
pull your firearm and
no,
hold that
because
person
listen,
at gunpoint.
Brian. Okay, my partner's name is Brian, right? And we had this conversation.
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, what would you do? I don't know that any of us can even quantify what would, I was going to say go through your head, which is like no pun intended. But I don't think that you can really quantify it. So in 2022, I responded to a homicide in the parking lot. So when I get out there, they had told me that this guy had gotten shot and that he was dead inside of his vehicle. So when I get out there and I take my flashlight and look into the vehicle, I had never seen someone that had been shot in the head. I'd never seen that before. I'd never seen the inside of a person's skull.
Right.
Sorry to be graphic, okay? This is grown folks talks. It's almost midnight. We're adults here. So for a brief moment, in my mind, it felt like 10 seconds, and it might have been that quick. But for a brief moment, you kind of glitch out because it's outside of the norm. It should be. It's outside of the norm of what you normally see. And it took a second for me to kind of reset and go, okay, you need to get back on the X and start looking around to make sure that you're safe and start initiating protocol, make sure that everybody's in the right position and that everybody's safe. Before that brief moment, there was kind of a glitch in the matrix. So I would assume if somebody walked in with that, you probably wouldn't even register it. I don't think that you would register it.
Well, I think you would now because you've read this story and you've talked about it. But no, I mean, I think you would. I think, knowing you, I think you would. I mean, maybe not.
The problem is that in Portland, so like if somebody walked in, you can't necessarily draw your firearm on someone because you don't know what this is gonna sound so crazy. You don't know what the circumstances are. Is it outside of the realm of possibility for a random homeless person to pick up a random severed head and walk into my store? No. As crazy as that sounds, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not, but I don't think don't have. I don't think you having your firearm in your hand and not pointed at him, but even just in your hand on the ready and giving commands for that person to stop, right? I don't think you would be not in your wheelhouse to even have your firearm in your hand. Like you see something like that and you go, holy thing, especially if he has a knife in his hand already. A knife in his thing. You may not stop him. He may walk
That's
in
a lot
there.
of, hang on, that's a lot of variables. A head and a knife changes the situation.
But that's what you said. That's
No,
what the
I'm
story
saying
said.
if someone walked in just carrying.
Okay.
Only in Portland is this even a conversation. Like we're literally, I'm like going, well, if he walked in carrying a head, but he didn't have a knife, but if he walked in carrying a head and he did have a knife,
have to
people
think of those
that don't
things.
live here, you think that I'm making this up. I am not making this up at all. I'm not. Like the possibility of this happening and the fact that we have to even discuss this is not out of the realm. It's not out of the realm of possibility, which is crazy. I don't want to go down this tangent on the severed head. That was just like a quick intro because I want to talk about the relationship stuff. Oh. So I saw a relationship question and it said, is there ever a circumstance where cheating is justified?
Justified?
Is there ever a circumstance where cheating in the relationship is justified? There's no right or wrong answer.
I know there's not. Oh, God. No.
Just a solid no.
Yeah, is there a yes, no, or is there gray? But no, I mean, I feel like the scenarios that are running through my head, right? Justified is the word that you used, and that is what I'm basing my answer on. If that was the question.
Is justified different than okay? Like if I were to say, is cheating ever okay versus justified?
No. Because, can I air your dirty laundry a little bit as an example?
Huh?
I said, can I air your dirty laundry as an example?
Yeah, no, you can say whatever.
So, like, do I think you were justified in cheating? No.
Wait. Was I justified in cheating in previous relationships?
Yes.
Okay, we're not talking about
not
us.
Me. Yeah,
right.
Not us.
Just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Not us.
I'm a different person.
Yes, but I'm just saying, no, you were not. However, I also don't hold your previous indiscretions against you. Like, hearing what you said, and ultimately whatever you did and went through in your previous marriage or relationships or anything like that, it is not okay what you did. But I know that you also have been brutally honest about what led you to that point. And although I don't agree and I don't think you should have done it and everything you did was wrong, I just don't sit here in our relationship and bring that into it. So, like, for me, running through every type of scenario, no. My answer is no. I do not think it is justified. because there are so many different means or avenues that you can take or go through before you get to making that decision.
Yeah, but people, I mean, people cheat for different reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ever, you know, I think that cheating can be justified. Would it be justified for a female to cheat if she found out her man cheated? So like the trust has already been broken, the honesty has already been broken. Is she then justified to get her get back in that situation?
No. Because there's this video floating around out there, whether it's real, whether it's not. It looks real, like someone cell recorded it, right? Of like some shit happening. And this woman found out her man cheated on her. So she came home and the conversation that took place is she confronted him about it. And she was like, guess what? Basically she said, we have this house together. We have built this life together. We have 2 kids or whatever. And who knows how old the kids are. But she was grown, not like 25. She was like, we going to keep doing what we doing. We're going to keep making that money, building that legacy, building that empire. However,
Okay.
she was like, however, you have now shown you're going to do what you're going to do. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's justified then. That's what I just said.
But
She's
she's
justifying
not.
it.
If he cheated first, she's letting him know. There's a difference in what you said. If I found out you cheated and then I just went and fucked somebody else, like, it's not justifiable. She came home and she was like, listen, you did this. I'm not throwing away the 20 years that we've got, but I'm going to be fucking other people, and now you're fucking other people, and we ain't fucking each other no more.
I literally just said that would it be justified if you found out that the guy cheated and you said no, and now you're saying
It's not. Is it cheating, though? If she's coming home finding out, it's not
So
cheating.
you're saying it's not cheating because she's being open
Because
about it.
she's saying, listen, you did this, and now this is how we're going
Man,
forward.
what guy would stay in that situation?
Well, she did say, I own this house, so a guy who stays in that situation is the one who's milking the fucking cow and trying to...
Hey, let me say this. Anybody who ever gets caught cheating, if the woman doesn't like harm you and she says that she wants to stay, don't stay. My opinion is if you decide as a person who has cheated a lot in my life, okay, if you stay in a relationship with somebody and they try to make it work, it never works. I was in a relationship with a great woman and I cheated on her, right? And she was heartbroken. I feel horrible about the whole situation, but she was heartbroken. And she really did love me. And she was like, you know what? We're going to make this work. We tried to make it work. And that situation came up every conversation. If we were at dinner and I wasn't eating the dinner the way that she thought I should, that came up. It came up in every situation. She was
self-responsibility comes within that too on
right, but
the person who chooses to stay's part.
But she could never let it go. And I don't, it came up in a lot of different conversations. We tried to go to therapy. And when we were in therapy, the therapist, so she picked the therapist. It was a female therapist. She picked the therapist. So we're going to therapy. And during the conversation, the therapist is like, I'm not going to say the girl's name. She was like, Amanda. That's the fictitious name.
Yeah.
She's like, Amanda, one of his love languages is touch and affirmation. Like, are you facilitating? Are you like being, are you starting the intimate relationships with him? Like, are you going to him and telling him how much you love him and care about him? Are you initiating the encounter? And she wasn't doing that, right? Not necessarily to any fault of her own. But the therapist was like, if you're not doing that and that's his love language, like, it's going to cause him to seek that out. Oh my God. At that point, any sort of like, I don't want to say accountability, but any sort of like reference to accountability to something that she should have been doing or could have been doing that might have changed the dynamic, that was like pouring gasoline on a fire.
100%.
You know what I mean? She didn't want to hear that shit. And that just made things even worse.
Women don't want to hear that.
Why?
People in general don't want to self-introspect. I would say I feel like we've had a wonderful relationship.
Yeah.
Start to now. I do think the first 2 years we were together probably like, well, maybe I feel like a little opposite, right? Like we're wonderful and we're great, but we're the rockiest 2 years we ever had. And I think that just comes with the newness
Like
and
getting to know each other,
getting to know each other and
family
moving
dynamics,
and like moving in together and all of that, right? But there was never a time, I was just telling my dad this, we were talking about shit the other day, but there has never been a time where I have ever thought, how do I change you?
Yeah.
How do I get you to do this? I literally Googled in those first 2 years how to be a better partner, how to be a better spouse, how to be a better wife, how to be a better girlfriend, like whatever label I needed, and I would read all these fucking articles, right? But everything comes back and says the same thing. It's like it's a self introspection. And it's no different than you asking about why I make you dinner or why I do this or why I scrub you in the shower. Like there are things that I do for you, and your natural response is giving me what I want. And I don't know which one of us started that fucking circle, but I love that I paid attention to it. And I milk that cow for selfish reasons, but it works. Like I love making you dinner because you really appreciate it and give me so many good words of affirmation about it, you know? And people don't have that introspective side.
Will you hand me your phone?
Introspective side to say, if I do this, maybe it could elicit this response. And some people just plain don't work together. What are we doing?
They said, what do you look like? But she's at home and it's midnight, so this is what she looks like.
Oh, don't.
Normal. That's her, yeah. Anyway. No, I agree. Relationships, listen, jobs, anything. It all comes down to you.
And people don't want to listen.
No one wants to hear that. Like, you really have to have yourself figured out because, like, until I came to the table and I said, these are my flaws, these are the problems that I've had in my other relationships, this is all the dirt that I've done, this is everything that you're going to hear about me, right? And this is the type of relationship that I want to have. These are the boundaries that I want. Like, I just laid everything down until you get to a point where you are comfortable with that. And you have to be, if we're just talking relationship or job, you have to be willing to say, this is what I want. These are my boundaries. These are my non-negotiables. And I'm willing to cut bait if you're not okay with that.
Pre-you, no one had ever laid out boundaries with me before. And not that it's, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, okay? Like, no shade to any of the guys that I was with before, but I can pointedly remember where we were going in a car and probably the time of fucking year, maybe not the day, of like when you would say things to me where you would say, this is a boundary of mine and this is what I want. And no one had ever said those things. And for me, personally, that gave me a sense, like that told me where the line was and let me think about what I wanted and do those things fit together. Can I do that or be that, or is that what I want and does that work for me? And not that it was necessarily your responsibility, but I know that now, right? Like, people don't do that. They don't lay the boundaries out of this is what.
And laying a boundary out is not about being rude or being mean. I think that
or
like
controlling
people,
or anything.
right?
Like
I think that people have this misconception that like we are in some sort of weird controlling relationship. I don't have any desire to tell you what to do. I don't have any desire to put my thumb on you. Like, I have given you complete freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like that is where most people get it fucked up. Like, they think that in order to have a relationship that works in harmony, you have to be on some like pimp shit. That's not how it works. Like, you don't mistreat someone, you don't come down on someone, you're not mean or rude or disrespectful. You just say, like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what are you laughing about?
I'm not laughing.
You were smirking.
I'm keeping my inappropriate quips.
What were you gonna say?
You just said the pimp shit, and I was thinking, well, you can smack me around, but it's fine. Sorry. If I'm smirking, don't ask me what I'm thinking. I'm trying to keep it professional here. People just also don't want to hear when I tell you something. It's hard, right? How many hours a day do you work? 18-hour shifts.
16.
16 and no, well,
There's 16 hours.
Whatever. Okay, but drive time and that, so 17 hours you're gone when you work a shift. And how many times have you come home? I mean, it's not like so many, but I feel like you'll back me up here. How many times have you come home and I'm like, Will, my cup's a little low. I just need a little bit.
Yeah.
You could literally, I feel like this, I see this in a lot of other dynamics, and people don't work shifts like you work. They might work the normal 9 to 5 or even a 6-day a week. But then the husband's rolling his eyes and he's just like, fuck, babe, like I'm tired after working 10 hours a day, blah, blah, whatever. That people don't want to hear that. And it's not just husbands, but wives as well.
Yep.
And we can get into the nitty gritty of that, you know, but like you have never scoffed at me, and you literally have never said, I just worked and have been gone since 6 o'clock this morning. Like, can we do this on my day off? Or whatever. Or you do say, you know, hey, let's get some cuddle time in tonight, right? And just relax with each other, and then I'll take you on a date on my next day off. Or, you know what I'm saying? You just hear me, and a lot of people don't do that.
It's crazy to me, like, how easy a relationship can be if you're just open with each other and honest, you know?
And receptive
And
to
receptive,
listening.
you know? And letting people be themselves. Morgan and I have both said that this is probably the first relationship that we've both been in where each person just allows the other person to be themselves. The way that you dress, the way that you carry yourself, your tattoos, like, you know, your expressive nature. I love that about you. I don't do anything to stifle that. My, like, obsessiveness and
Inability to not sit still for 2
inability
minutes.
to not sit still, my, like, just overly aggressive passion with everything that I do. You know, you don't stifle that. And when you try to keep people from being who they are, like, that's when you create like a rift, you know. But it blows my mind how difficult it seems that people make being in a relationship, because it's not that hard, you know, in my opinion.
Well, I think based on my own experience with people in my life that I see, people are so selfish. I don't know that I know too many. I don't know. I could not name right now. I'd have to sit and think for probably a long time. Another couple who is selfless.
You know, it just dawned on me that I've never asked you. Have you ever cheated on somebody?
No.
You've never cheated.
No.
Y'all believe that?
I've told you though, I have not, but I was this close with that airport. Remember, I told you that airport story one time?
I thought you hooked up with the dude at the airport.
Do I legitimately seem like someone who would hook up with someone at the fucking airport?
You're a woman. It doesn't, you know what I mean? What? Man,
Get out of here.
don't get.
You're itching.
What do you
you're
know?
itching.
I don't believe that you've never cheated on somebody.
Nope.
You never had. Okay. All right. See, now, okay. Now we about to get into some conversation right now.
Get into it.
So you've never had like a guy you were talking to on the side. Maybe nothing happened, but you were in a relationship.
The guy on the airplane. But it was an airplane ride's worth of. So, like, yeah, if you want to get technical.
Everybody talks to a guy. I talked to a guy on the airplane. I'm not cheating on I'm not cheating on him.
But in my mind, I purposely sat next to this motherfucker on the airplane. Because I saw him and went, holy fucking shit, when he walked past me. I didn't even know he was on my flight. I just saw him in the airport. And when my ass got on the plane and I saw him sitting there in the aisle and then an empty seat in the middle and then the girl sitting at the window seat, my first thought was, the first thing out of my mouth was, anybody sitting here? He was like, you are? And he got up and I went, holy fucking shit.
Dirty.
And then I sat
Wait, who were you with at this time?
No, I was by myself.
No, who were you dating at this time?
Jared.
She belonged to the streets, boy.
I had the most enjoyable 3.5 or 4 hour flight. I don't remember his name, but I know what he does for work. I know where he was going. His mom was somewhere on the plane. Like, I was not mad at that 3.5 hour flight. Also, I had the opportunity because the motherfucker followed me outside of the airport. I told you this.
Did you tell Jared?
No. Are you kidding me? Because I knew in my own head, because I did, so it's like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, I made the conscious choice. I do not deny in any way. When Alex picked me up, I fucking regurgitated all of it to her, but I knew what I was doing. I am not going to deny it or sugarcoat, like, that I literally saw that empty seat and made the choice of, like, yep, I'm gonna sit there.
So let me ask you this. Okay. All right, perfect. So what was it in that moment when you saw the guy in the airport? What was it that made you decide, even though you were in a relationship, to take that step?
I mean, I don't know. I truly swear to God. I was probably 20. How long have we been together? I was probably 24, 25. And things weren't great, but they weren't at the real bad point, right? But I definitely, like, I can't really pinpoint what it was other than I just know that as soon as I saw that open seat, I was like,
But
yep.
there had to have been something going on in your relationship that made you even consider that. Because look, if we're being honest, like in the course of anybody's day, you're going to see attractive people. You don't always make the decision to take that next step and go from a initial attraction to maybe, you know what I mean? Like putting yourself
Putting
yourself in that
in a
situation.
position.
So what was going on in your relationship with Jared that made you, because you initiated that?
I have no clue.
Mm.
Did I though? Because he was eyeballing me when he walked through the
He
airport.
didn't say nothing to you, I'm assuming. She's trying to clean it up now. You over here trying to clean it up. Would you say that you were justified to have done that? Did you feel justified?
No. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Because I won't go into everything on the plane because it wasn't a big deal, but he threw probably 4 or 5 innuendos out during the plane ride. And then he followed me out to the curb. I didn't know he followed me out to the curb because I was waiting for Alex Umsteg and it was at KCI, right? So it's a circle. So I'm sitting there and I'm on the phone with her and she's like, I'm just now pulling in. And as soon as I hung up and went to step, he grabbed my arm and spun me around. And I remember thinking, holy fucking shit, before I saw it was him. This seems so unbelievable. I have to write a book about it. But he literally just grabbed both my arms and came in straight like he was going to kiss me. And he just said, just fucking kiss me. And I threw both my hands up and fucking squealed. And I won't do that and pierce everyone's ears. But I was like, I would get in so much trouble with you. And I threw both my hands up in his face. And I just took a step back. He was like, I would do all kinds of things in trouble with you. And I was like, oh my God. At that point, I was totally fucking mortified and at the same time very flattered because he was very attractive. And then I just grabbed my bag and Alex pulls up and I get in and she goes, who was that? And I went, I got to tell you about the last 4 hours. And I told her, I said, I was...
Hang on. So if you didn't feel justified and you didn't feel like it was something that you were proud of, what kept you from telling Jared?
Because I knew it was wrong. I made that choice. Like, I am not denying.
No, but if you knew, if you knew,
I made the choice to sit in that seat, and I put myself.
But why would you? But why would you keep that quiet though? If you knew it was wrong, you know what I mean? Like, did you feel that? That's kind of what I'm getting at. If you didn't go and say, hey, look, this is what happened. This is the situation. Like, clearly, I'm feeling some kind of way about our relationship if I put myself in that position, right? If you didn't do that, in my opinion, that means that you internally, subconsciously, maybe knew the relationship was kind of over, right?
Yes.
So in that regard, that's why I'm saying people feel that it's justified.
Yes, but at the same time, you get to the point where you have to realize, now I'm not saying I should have. I feel like now, I hope nothing ever happens to us in any way, shape, or form. There is so much that I would know, learn, and expect going forward from our relationship than I did coming out of being 22 to 25 with someone, right? And spending those few years. So at the time, I had never been in a position or put myself in a position pre-Jared.
That's a good point.
That's the one time I did with him, and I fucking knew. that I was the one responsible, right? And so for sure, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really fucking matter in terms of him, but I knew that I had done something wrong and can't tell you why I didn't tell him other than like I knew I did something wrong.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So part of that is like immaturity because you haven't been in enough relationships to know that like that's a line that you cross that you can come back from, or a line that you cross that you can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, if you were in that situation now, do you feel that you would have enough strength in our relationship that if you found yourself in that exact same situation, would you be able to come and talk to me about it afterwards?
I would never be in that situation.
Hypothetically, if you were, would you feel that you were in a position that you could come to me and say, hey, this is what happened?
Yes, you're the kind of person, yes, I could tell you that. But I can't even hypothetically give you, I mean, I'm giving you the hypothetical yes because I do feel like I could talk to you about anything.
Let me just say this. Talking about somebody cutting off a chick's head and then having a conversation about a chick cheating is probably not, those probably aren't the two like topics to mesh together.
But I would never in my life, in 8 years I haven't, like I should, and if something ever goes askew, I always if something ever goes where I think it's gonna go, I always tell you if someone has messaged me, or and you just, everyone knows the thing, people just want to play stupid. It's like the person, I won't name names, but from back home, who always asks my mom about me, and she's like, oh, he always says hi, and I always tell her, like, I appreciate that he says hi, and like, we were friends fucking 20 years ago. However, I don't need or want him messaging me.
Yeah.
And I don't need, not that I don't even need it, I don't need it, but I don't even want someone to think they can open a door and potentially they walk through it. Like, I don't need your...
It took me a long time to come to terms with that. That, like, I think I told you, but like I have a friend that I went to school with who is a very famous actor, right? And the last time that I talked to this person was probably 2015, right?
No, you talked to him
2015?
when we were together. I think it was probably 2017.
Let's just say 2017, okay? At some point in time, the last conversation that I had with this person, he says, look, my career is about to go this direction. There's something that's happening. And I just want to be honest with you. Like, you're probably not going to talk to me for a long time, if ever. Because, like, in order for me to go in this direction, I need to, close some doors and close some windows. I love you. I will think about you, and like, you're going to always be a part of my life. It's kind of like a breakup almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was very open and honest about, like, it wasn't just me. There was a lot of people in that same past dynamic that like he needed to kind of shut off. Now, I don't know why he needed that. I don't know why. And it's not for me to really know or care about. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that it's important for people in relationships to feel comfortable enough to have a difficult conversation like that.
Mm-hmm.
In a friendship conversation. I've had that conversation with some family members. Sometimes things are toxic because one person is doing something wrong. Sometimes like relationships just die. Friendships just die out. They fizzle out, But it takes a level of maturity to like be able to admit that and like talk about that kind of stuff and be willing to be open and honest with each other about it,
I think people just are seeking, whether, emotional cheating or physical cheating, people are so easy to, I would guarantee, now that I'm thinking this, like that is probably what I was thinking with that person on the plane, right? Like I was missing something that conversationally that person gave me for the flight. And then clearly when he approached me trying to suck my face off, that wasn't something I needed fulfilled. So that was like a line in the sand, right? But I think people don't. I have a good question, but I don't know how long you want this to go.
Go ahead. I got one more in me.
This is good if anybody, I don't know if anyone's even watching. Do you think that men and women can platonically be friends?
No.
Not
No.
when one or both are in relationships with
No.
other people?
No. And anybody that says otherwise is lying.
Does sexuality make a difference? Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
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 So like can a female have a gay friend if he's legitimately gay?
Yeah.
And I think that we all know like people that are in a period of experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's dicey.
Yeah.
I think that having a man and a female in a platonic situation when one or both of them are in a relationship, having them in a dynamic where they're alone together, I think is pretty dicey in general. Mm-hmm. Because the opportunity for anything to be misconstrued or anything to happen that can go south in so many different ways that brings other people into the peripheral. So like you being friends with a gay guy mm-hmm. and spending time alone with that guy in an environment without me there, even if it's completely above board, that guy could say, do, or behave in a way that then puts me in a position where I feel the need to respond out of protection of you, feeling disrespected. You know what I mean? There's so many ways that can go south. And so if you're in a relationship, I think that is a very dicey thing if it's being done in private away from the other person. It would be no different than if I had a female friend that was gay. That's still a female, I'm still a guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people think about like the the only word that comes to mind is like peripheral things, because like everyone thinks about relationship stuff, like if that guy were to make a pass or that girl were to make a pass, but there's so many other things that could happen that cause the boyfriend or the girlfriend on the other side to like take something the wrong way, and then it just becomes a big issue. The same way you were talking about how you don't necessarily want or have any desire for people from back home that you used to hang out with or know, guys, to contact you, because opening that door just creates another set of potential problems that you don't need.
That's where I think everybody fucking lies to themselves. The only reason why I'll say a guy wants to contact me from where I'm from is not because they want to know how I'm doing. We're not old enough for them to want to know how I'm doing from a place of that, right? Like when it happens to my mom, I get it. These people, and she has a fucking 40-year class reunion, like I get it. And we're going to get old one day and we're all going to like talk and be old together in that kind of way. But there is nothing that comes from I'll say a guy who's wanting to contact me at any point that I'll just say high school. Went to high school together outside of Roy and Preston, right? In that way, which even then I don't talk to them much, but it's one of those where I go, there's only one reason. What are you doing? Like, they don't care about how my life's going.
Yeah, there's guys, if you haven't ever heard it, type in Joe Rogan Wolves comedy. Joe Rogan Wolves comedy. It is the funniest, most like dead on accurate of every guy who's the friend just checking in, right? And guys are gonna say, no, I got like, I'm cool with Amanda, I'm cool with Tina. I would never do anything.
Girls are the king of that though. Women and girls are the king of that. Oh no, we're just
friends. It's just my buddy.
Men should know women are the ones who dominate in relationships. We are the ones who decide who is just a friend, and that is where women fucking lie. My two best guy friends I love. They are only my best guy friends because I have placed them in that box, and I fucking know in any given situation, now or 15 years ago or 10, at any point in the whole time we've been friends for 20 years, had I have opened that door, they would have walked the
I did not
right
know
way.
we were having church up in here
I'm
on
just
a
saying,
Monday. Let's go.
women lie about that, and we are friends, but the dynamics now and have always been what I have set them at. When they have a girlfriend, guess what? He might be my best friend, but she's now my new best friend because I never put them in a position to make the girl feel any kind of way, but I'm aware of those things because if there's a difference in friendships and sexual relationships, and if he and sexual relationships, I don't want to say are more important. They're just totally different ball games. And if he is with someone else having a sexual relationship with her, I want to be friends with her and let her know that there is nothing fucking going on, and I will never put him in a position that makes her and him have an issue. And people don't want to do that, and they lie about it.
I don't want to be friends with my guy friends' wives. Like, I keep it on some high and by type shit.
Well, I think it's different, right? They don't reach out to me. If we talk or see each other every few years, it's generally such a group thing, right? But women are the ones who set that precedence in relationships on what a man is going to be in their life. But women lie about it and go, "No, my friend would never want to have sex with me." Bullshit. Like, yes, he would, given the right opportunity and circumstance. And
yeah, if you met him on a plane and you had 3 hours.
But yeah, I agree. I think that they can be to a degree. I think men and women can be friends to a degree. But I also know I'm not going to have guy friends that are not your friends. Meaning that you don't know that I talk to them. They always go, "How's Damien?" or whatever type of thing. But where it is some sort of, everyone is aware of everyone and their roles that they play. Like, I don't want you separate from my friends. And I mean, you don't really have girlfriends, but I see, your groupies on Facebook, and I just sit there and go, well, guess we'll be friends now.
First off, what? First, no, don't even start, because I don't seek out people on Facebook. If somebody comments on my shit, that's them commenting. I don't seek them out.
I know, Shamar. I just
Don't start.
I just sit back and watch.
All right, I'm gonna eat my dinner, and
anyone say anything good? Probably.
Somebody says, "Let me tell about my best friend. Life is just all about the." Oh, okay. It never ceases. Like, if I read a comment, it's always like just.
Oh, good.
It's not that it's bad, but
You not reading them, like, everybody can read those comments, right?
No, they can. No, I get it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm the only one who can't read them. When you say that, I just have to go back and watch the live and then click on the comments.
Hey, real quick before we get out of here. So, a good question. Let me see here. I want to ask them a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that guys and girls can be friends? Platonic friends? And that there's no underlying desire or anything? I don't think so. And I'm probably older than everybody on this thread. And I probably have a lot more experience than most people. I've seen some crazy shit.
You've done some crazy
I've done some crazy shit. I've seen some crazy shit. My trust in humanity is pretty low.
I just think people are lying when they say yes.
I agree. Somebody says, wait. You know what's on the back of mind at all times? The moment a guy friend sees the opportunity to smash, they will take it.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
The only reason my guys can't smash is because the girl puts him in that box.
Or doesn't put him in that box.
Or doesn't, and then she's just out in them streets, obviously, because she's getting something. So men, stop giving out shit for free,
stop.
too.
Yeah, stop letting. Yeah, that's for real. Don't.
I sound like I'm hating on women, and I'm not. But
you sound like a little bit. You know who?
No.
You know who Pearl is? Just Pearly Things. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
What's Pearl's last name? She's real famous. She's kind of like the Candace Owens of the women's space.
Oh, is she kind of like that? Not strawberry, but strawberry headed.
Yeah,
I know
strawberry
exactly
blonde.
who you're talking about.
Yeah. I've always said I'm not going to.
No,
but
I know who you're talking about. No, listen. I mean, I could get all over men too if we wanted to have a whole next episode about men and what they should do. I could help every man on here be better for their wives at home.
Woo!
But I can just speak from the female perspective, but also and or having guy friends. Do you know what is so perfect about this? I know this from experience because I had a guy friend who I friend zoned who took me out to eat for probably 4 months, and then when I started seeing someone, he got so mad, and I literally said to his face, "You didn't ask me out." He would just be like, "Hey, a bunch of us are going out. You want to go out?" And then he'd be like, "Oh no, I'll pay for dinner." Okay. I was 18 years old, and I'm like, no problem. And guess what? 4 months of going out twice a week with a group of friends, and he's always like, "Oh, I'll pay." Did he ever go, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner?" Nope, he never said that. And he still continued paying and got so mad at me. And guys, quit doing that shit.
Closed mouth don't get fed. Meanwhile, the dirtbag. See, this is why people are always like, "Oh, why do the girls like the dirtbag? Why do the girls like the dirtbag?" The dirtbag don't give a shit. Dirtbag is like, "Hey, you wanna go? You wanna go eat?" And you're buying. And the girl's like, "Okay."
I've never done that. I mean, the guy I started dating was really nice. A very good job.
Hey, before we get out of here, there was a shooting at a strip club tonight. 1 dead, 1 injured, 1 arrested. When I drove down Stark today, the shooting happened at like 5 o'clock tonight, and there were still cop cars.
What strip club?
What's it called?
Had to be the
venue. It's called the Venue.
There's Venue, the one across the street, and then
They had the Venue all taped off. So yeah.
Damn. Who shoots up?
Can't even strip out here, man.
Strip.
Can't even strip. What is this world coming to, man? Can't even strip no more.
Yeah, that does suck.
That sucks. All right.
Boy, now we open this can of worms. I have so many topics just going forward. Not tonight.
We'll hit it some other time. Y'all have a good night. Be safe.